How would it feel to shatter from losing a vital part of yourself, only for the person closest to you to indifferently brush it off? Everything happens for a reason. If right now you are cradling a crushing pain and cursing the cruelty of fate, please pause for just a moment. This story is for you. Once, in a kingdom nestled between jagged mountains and whispering forests, lived a young king. He was a man sculpted by ambition, obsessed with the illusion of absolute perfection. His armor was flawless, his decrees absolute, and he believed that through sheer force of will, he could master the unpredictable tides of destiny. Alongside him walked his oldest advisor, a man whose face was a map of deep wrinkles, each etched by the passage of time and silent observation. The old man harbored a quiet stillness, a gentle defiance against the king's rigid world. His philosophy was maddeningly simple, often whispered like a prayer into the turbulent court. Everything that happens for a profound reason. The king despised this phrase. To him, life was a wild stallion to be broken and steered by human hands, not a river to simply surrender to. Autumn arrived, painting the woods in shades of rust and bleeding gold. The king, eager to prove his unmatched dominance over nature, led a hunting party deep into the ancient timberlands. The air was crisp, tasting of pine and damp earth. Without warning, a massive wild boar, a creature of pure, ancient fury, burst from the underbrush. The king, arrogant in his strength, dismounted to face the beast with only a hunting knife. The clash was brutal, a chaotic blur of dust, raw muscle, and glinting steel. The king emerged victorious, his blade buried deep in the beast's chest. But victory demanded a gruesome tax. In the frantic, desperate struggle, the beast's tusk had caught the king's left hand, cleanly severing his index finger. Blood stained the golden autumn leaves. The physical agony was blinding, but it was nothing compared to the psychological tearing happening within the young ruler. The king stared at his mangled hand, his flawless image irrevocably shattered. He was no longer whole. He was defective. Amidst the horrified silence of the royal guards, the old advisor stepped forward. He looked at the bleeding stump, his eyes soft with a sorrowful understanding, and murmured, "My king, do not despair. Even this too has happened for a good reason." The words hung in the cold air, striking the king like a second, deeper wound. A terrifying rage, born of shock and profound violation, erupted from his chest. How dare he? How could the mutilation of a king, the destruction of his perfection, be a blessing? "Treason!" the king roared, his voice tearing through the serene forest, startling a flock of birds into the gray sky. "Throw this madman into the deepest dungeon. Let him rot in the dark and see if he can find a good reason for his misery." The heavy iron doors of the underground keep slammed shut, sealing the old man in a world of perpetual dampness and shadows. Months bled into one another. The king's physical wound healed into a jagged, pale scar, but the wound in his soul festered and grew. He wore a heavy velvet glove to hide his shame, yet he felt the phantom weight of the missing finger every second of the day. The palace, with all its opulent tapestries and golden chandeliers, felt like a suffocating cage. The silence of the halls mocked him. The illusion of control had slipped through his remaining fingers. Seeking an escape from the relentless, punishing echoes of his own mind, the king rode out alone one sunless morning. He spurred his horse far beyond the safe borders of his realm, deep into the uncharted territories where the trees grew thick and the sunlight failed to pierce the canopy. He wanted to be swallowed by the wilderness. He wanted the silence to match the void within him. He rode too far. Before he could register the snap of twigs, rough, dirt-caked hands dragged him from his saddle. He was surrounded by a forgotten, savage tribe. Men with faces painted in ash and blood, eyes burning with a primal, religious fervor. They stripped him of his royal garments, leaving him shivering and exposed. To them, he was not a king. He was an offering. They bound his wrists with coarse, biting vines and dragged him up a terraced mountain to an ancient stone altar. The air grew thick with the cloying, heavy scent of burning herbs and charred wood. Rhythmic drumming vibrated through the soles of his bare feet, matching the terrified, frantic beating of his heart. He was thrown roughly onto the cold, blood-stained obsidian slab. The high priest, a towering figure adorned in feathers and bone, stepped forward holding a jagged, ceremonial blade. The chanting reached a fever pitch. The king looked up at the gray sky, the cold stone biting into his bare back. The realization of his impending death washed over him, chilling his blood. All his gold, his armies, his obsession with perfection, none of it could buy him another breath. He closed his eyes, finally surrendering to the ultimate powerlessness. The priest grabbed the king's left hand to raise it to the heavens, preparing to strike. Suddenly, the chanting stopped. The drumming ceased. A deafening, absolute silence crashed over the mountaintop. The king opened his eyes. The high priest was staring at the king's hand, his expression twisting from ferocious zeal to sheer horror. He traced the empty space where the index finger used to be. He spat on the ground, dropping the king's hand as if it were cursed. The priest shouted to his people in a guttural tongue. The king didn't need to speak their language to understand the anger and disgust in their voices. By the ancient, inviolable laws of their gods, a sacrifice had to be physically flawless, an unblemished vessel. A man missing a finger was damaged goods, an insult to the divine. They cut his bindings and violently kicked him down the steps of the altar, chasing him back into the forest. The king stumbled through the dense woods, gasping for air, tears cutting tracks through the dirt on his face. He fell to his knees beside a rushing stream, staring at his mangled, scarred left hand. The very flaw he had cursed, the ugliness he had hidden away in a velvet glove, was the sole reason blood still pumped through his veins. The universe had not broken him to punish him. It had broken him to save him. He returned to his kingdom not as a proud conqueror, but as a humbled student of life. He did not stop to change his torn clothes or wash the mud from his skin. He walked straight past his bewildered guards, down the spiraling stone stairs, deep into the belly of the castle, until he stood before the rusted iron door of the dungeon. He ordered it opened. The heavy hinges screamed in the darkness. In the dim, flickering light of a single torch, the old advisor sat on a bed of damp straw. His clothes were ragged, but his face was serene, his posture as unbroken as the day he was imprisoned. The king collapsed to his knees on the cold, mossy floor. He wept. It was a weeping that cleansed the soul, washing away years of arrogance, entitlement, and bitter resistance to the flow of life. "You were right," the king whispered, his voice cracking in the damp air. He pulled off the velvet glove and held up his scarred hand. "This missing finger, it saved my life today. I was captured. They were going to sacrifice me, but they let me go because I was not whole. I see it now. the grand, terrifying, beautiful design of it all. I am so deeply sorry for my blindness. I beg your forgiveness." The old man smiled, a gentle curve of the lips that seemed to hold the warmth of 1,000 suns. He reached out and placed his frail, trembling hand on the king's bowed head. "There is nothing to forgive, my king," the advisor said softly. The king looked up, wiping his eyes, a sudden knot of guilt tightening in his chest. "But how can your philosophy hold true here? My missing finger saved me, yes. But what of you? What possible good reason could there be for you to rot in this dark, miserable cell for months, suffering for my foolish anger?" The old man chuckled, a dry, quiet sound that echoed beautifully in the dark chamber. "My dear king," he murmured, his eyes twinkling with profound clarity. "If you had not thrown me into this dungeon in your rage, I would have been riding right beside you today. And when they realized you were unfit for the altar, who do you think they would have sacrificed instead?" The king sat in stunned silence, the weight of the revelation settling over him. The tapestry of life is woven with threads of deep sorrow, sudden loss, and inexplicable pain. When we are standing nose to wire against the fabric, all we see are messy, tangled knots. We see the unfairness. We see the jagged, bleeding edges of our broken plans. But slowly, if we allow ourselves to step back, to breathe through the storm, the larger picture begins to reveal itself. We spend so much energy demanding that life go exactly according to our carefully drawn blueprints. We build rigid walls around our expectations, and when those walls inevitably crack, we believe our world is ending. But remember, a lotus seed must break open in the absolute darkness of the mud before it can find its way to the surface to bloom. A perfect, unblemished vase holds nothing but empty air, but a cracked vessel is exactly where the light gets in. The storms that uproot our lives, the rejections that break our hearts, the detours that leave us lost in the woods, they are rarely punishments. More often than not, they are fierce, untamed acts of protection. They are the universe's way of violently pulling us out of the path of a danger we could not see, or forcefully redirecting us toward a destiny we were too afraid to choose. If you are standing in the ruins of a plan that didn't work out, grieving a piece of yourself that feels lost forever, please be gentle with yourself. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The story is simply not over yet. May you find the quiet courage to trust the unfolding of your own life, even when the pages are stained with tears. May you find peace not in controlling the storm, but in knowing that the rain is watering seeds you haven't even seen yet. What is a missing finger in your life right now? A loss or a setback that you are still struggling to accept? Perhaps, looking back, you have already experienced a moment where a closed door actually saved you. Take a moment to reflect, and if you feel comfortable, leave your thoughts in the comments below. We are all walking this winding path together. If this story brought a moment of stillness to your heart, please share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And subscribe to our channel so we can continue to explore the quiet wisdom of life together. Until next time, breathe deeply and be at peace.